Hey there, everybody. I am Mike, and I'm here to talk about a show I like. It's a guy named Draper, played by John Hamm. It's on AMC, and it's called Mad Men. Theme song? No, yes? I don't know. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Friday, another episode of Mad Men. Which really another episode of Made Man, where I cover the show Mad Men. It's kind of a tongue twister, and I screw that up all the time. Folks, today I watched Episode 10 of Mad Men, Long Weekend, where things happened. What happened? Stuff, some things. We got some ad stuff. We got a lot of relationship stuff. Some big moments, perhaps. Some creepiness, a lot of character development. So why don't we just kind of, and I've literally just finished watching it, got up, grabbed my phone, ran on the back deck. There's crickets, but it's a beautiful night here at the end of September, and I wanted to talk about it. It's called Long Weekend for a reason. It takes place over Labor Day weekend in 1960. Labor Day weekend, Sterling Cooper is closed for the weekend, and Betty, her dad and his new friend are going up to the cottage, and they want Betty and the kids to come, and then Don's going to meet the next day. Now, Betty is upset because this friend is basically her dad's new girlfriend. And Betty's really an immature, selfish woman in this show. It seems like so far. She seems to be like jealous of her... jealous of this woman, does not like this woman being around. Because her mother died, I think it was the year before or something. It hadn't been that long, but her father already has a girlfriend. And it's funny because Don's like, well, he can't make his own food or do his own laundry. Like, what is he supposed to do? She's like, get a housekeeper. He's like, but the housekeeper goes home at night. So she's pretty upset about that. And again, it just shows, I mean, I guess you'd be upset if you lose a parent, then you're all of a sudden your other parent shacking up with a new lady. And they knew this woman. It seemed because they talked about, she was complaining about this woman's kids and how her ex-husband cheated on his taxes and how one of the kids isn't even married. She just seems like a real snobby. I don't know if I'm supposed to like Betty Draper. Sometimes you smile and feel bad for her, or you kind of like her. Sometimes you're like, God, you are just like so selfish. And there's more of that later with Betty. And I'll get to that. And I think that may have to do with something going on with Don as well. I'll get to that as well. So, Long Weekend, Roger's family are going away, and I think they're just going away for the weekend. So he has the whole weekend to basically screw around on them. So he wants to spend time with Joni, take her anywhere. We can go to a Broadway show. We can go we go to a movie. He said, we can go to this movie. Joan said, we can go to a movie. Have you seen The Apartment? And he's like, it's ridiculous. A white woman as a white person as an elevator operator, and a woman? Please. And she's like, talked about how, I guess the movie, I have no idea what the movie's about. I've heard the movie The Apartment, but I don't know what the movie's about. And it seems like it's about a woman who gets mistreated by a lot of different guys and left, thrown out, in the gutter or something like that. And it seemed like the way Joan said that was almost like, is that how you see me? So Joan doesn't end up spending any time with Roger. He's like, you're on your own tonight, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember the disconnect. I thought they would hook up, but they didn't. So Roger basically says, Don, you're going to hang out with me tonight. We're going to paint the town red. And by paint the town red, it means really look, I have to tell you, I'm watching, today's like the Kavanaugh trials going on, everything. Bill Cosby just went to prison this week. Everything's so like right now, it is such a big time with the Me Too and the Time's Up and all these things and assholes getting their comeuppance. And then I turn and I see Roger Sterling talk Don Draper into going downstairs to casting. I didn't realize that, of course, as a giant advertising company, they also cast their own actresses to be in ads or models to be in ads. And this is for double-sided aluminum. So obviously they need twins. So they head downstairs. At the same time, there's the other guys down there, including Sal, who again is still trying to play up the fact that he's a ladies' man. But Dawn and Roger basically look around at a few girls and say, oh, first of all, they ship the guys out of there. Dawn's not into it. I feel like Dawn, to me, early on, I thought something happened with the girlfriend, with his girlfriend, leaving him. And I think, okay, he's going to focus his time on his family and his wife. But he's not really into this. Roger's a lot more into it. Roger takes these two girls and says, you know what? You guys are the new face of double-sided aluminum. And the rest of you girls, on your way. Why don't we come upstairs and celebrate? I mean, Roger has done, it's funny because I think someone I work with said, oh, they love Roger. And I'm like, it's weird because sometimes you love him, but other times he's a effing creepo. And in this episode, you feel bad for him, but you also feel like, is it real? Is it a creepo? So he takes this girl upstairs and he's just really over the top, touching her leg, fixing drinks, trying to get kissy with her. Then later, basically friggin' riding her like a horse. And the Dawn's with the other twin and she's trying to get him to do something, but he's not into it. The girl goes to kiss Dawn. He's not really into it. So they leave the room and Roger and this other girl are talking, and Roger starts talking about his wife, starts talking about his daughter, basically saying he wanted to name his daughter something else. He wishes he could connect to her. He had the same conversation with Joni when they hooked up. He was talking about his daughter again. So it's like he almost uses these women as sounding boards to talk to them about different things. Talk to him about his life, his family. So his family matters to him, but at the same time, he's cheating on his wife, right on, blatantly. We go outside and Dawn and this other girl are talking and then the sister's yelling, come on in. I knew we shouldn't have done it a second time. And Roger's sitting there gasping for air, clutching at his heart. Roger had a heart attack. So they take him to the ER. She says, call an ambulance and get out of here. Because they don't need them there. They don't need any kind of crisis, not crisis or conspiracy, but the show of an affair. We don't need any proof of that. But it's funny, little things I pick up on. He says, call an ambulance. Nowadays, I think you'd say call 911. I don't know when 911 started, but there was no 911, obviously, in 1960, I guess. I don't know. But it's just, that's a little thing I pick up on. I don't know if that's me or if I'm looking for something. Call an ambulance. Roger gets taken. He's getting wheeled out of the office, and he starts saying, Maribel, that's the girl he was sleeping with. Dawn grabs him by the hair and slaps him right in the face and says, your wife's name is Mona. I thought that was pretty funny. But as far as the joke aspect of that was the end of it, because at the hospital, he looked bad. He looked very gray. He looked very gaunt. And he starts talking to Dawn about, energy and having a soul. Is there anything, is this it? He wants to go someplace, I don't know if he is hating his life or starting to second guess his life or starting to second guess what he's done with his life. The fact that he has a wife, that has a kid, and he's been pissing it away, with these other women. Because his wife comes in, his daughter comes in, and he starts crying and he's hugging them and it feels genuine. And part of me wants to say, you friggin' louse, you are, you're such a phony. But I don't think he's a phony. I think he's crying for what he's done. I think he's crying for that he could die, that he could lose everything he had. Now, I could be wrong. 2 weeks from now, he could be off with Joan again, or he could be off with his with other girls. I don't know. This is only the first season. I can't imagine he's found the righteous path of no longer having adulterous ways. But part of me felt that way, maybe at least he's thinking about it, or is he, it's just, that's the way it seemed, because he grabbed his wife, he loves his wife, or he's just that guy who loves his wife, loves his daughter, and just, this is the way it is. This, the cheating, that's just the way it is. I don't know if that's 1960. I don't know if that's just 1960. Assholes were more assholey then, because God, it's I don't know. It was just out there. Now, Joan, on the other, we do have some Joan stuff going on too. Roger's not the only story going on. So Joan decides to go out with her friend instead. Her friend came by earlier in the day, and she ended up getting fired from her job. So Joan's like, we're going to go out. We're going to have a fun time. We're going to go look for a couple bachelors. And the girl's like, I'll do whatever you want. Sure. And then later they're getting dressed together. And it turns out this girl's a roommate too. So they're getting dressed together. And this girl starts looking at Joan and basically confesses her love for her. I love you. When I saw you in college that first time, I followed you. When you moved to New York, I followed you to New York. When you needed a roommate, I moved in. She basically confessed her love for her. And then she says, just think of me as a boy, which I guess is a way of how to explain being gay in 1960 to someone. I don't know. It was just, you really felt bad for this girl because Joan just looked at her and was like, you've been through a lot today. And the girl's like, yeah, okay, yeah. And she's like, come on, let's go out. And you just the look of pain on this woman's face. She looked like she was going to burst out in tears, like, I've given up. I tried. I took my big swing for the person I'm in love with, and it failed. So Joan and her go out. We don't see that going up, but we do see them bring two guys back to their apartment. And Joan's like, hey, I have a light bulb. Can you help fix a light bulb in the other room? Takes the guy in the other room, bing, bang, boom, I'm assuming. And this girl's left out with the other guy. And she's like, so what do you want to do? And he starts kissing her. And he kisses her and she looks at him. And I think she's going to say, I just can't do this. And I was like hoping, okay, this guy's not going to be a creep, is he? But she goes, do whatever you want. And to me, it was like, you feel bad again because it's this girl, 1960, gay, not getting what she wants, basically just giving up to society. And you think, is this going to be one of these women who ends up getting married, having a family, but never really living the life that she's supposed to be living her true self? I don't know. I'm putting a lot into that one moment, but the woman's acting was really good. Her face was really expressive, and that's kind of what I got out of it. God, what else went on? Okay, so there was a little Pete and a little Peggy, a little bit. Peggy, they lost a client. So Pete, they lost Dr. Schulz, I believe they call it. Even though it's Dr. Schulz is the real one, I think they call it Dr. Schills or Dr. Schulz. The insoles, the foot guy. They lost them for whatever reason. Pete came to tell him that, almost to gloat, that it was a creative fault. So it's your fault that we lost them, because I've never seen a client lost before I got here before. It's crazy. And Don's like, the moment you sign a client, you start to lose them. And Roger actually said that to Don later. But Don was pissed. He did not like losing a client. Told Peggy to take her insoles out, never wear them again. Roger was like, you gotta, he goes, we just gotta cut back. Maybe we'll fire someone, as he's getting a haircut in the office. If you just, clients come, clients go. There was more advertising stuff. I love the advertising stuff. That's some of my favorite stuff, is hearing the thought process and the ideas for dealing with products and things from almost 60 years ago. This is there was the Kennedy Nixon stuff going on. Very cool, because these guys are working for Nixon. They're helping the Nixon campaign, but they talked about paying clients. So I don't know if they're helping Nixon, if they're doing it, pro bono, if they're doing it out of civic duty. I have no idea how it works, but they're helping Nixon, and they don't like the fact that Nixon's leading in the polls, but that Kennedy guy is, he's getting closer, and he's too close. It shouldn't even be this close. And of course, we all know history on our side. We know Nixon becomes president years later because Kennedy wins this time around. And it's just interesting to see, Kennedy's got this like commercial with music, Kennedy, and then they show Nixon. He's like, hello, I'm Richard Nixon. And he has like a really boring, the way of talking. And it was that, and the invention of television and with young Kennedy, I think that had a lot to do with the Kennedy being elected. And these guys obviously weren't ready for that, or I'm guessing, because they keep saying, this Kennedy, or at least Pete keeps saying how Kennedy's, his ads are seem to be effective. I don't know if Pete's the young guy and it's just he's seeing it more, and Don's like sees Nixon is the guy who worked for everything he has. It reminds him of himself. Again, maybe there's that old thing where Don Draper's the older guy in the office, Pete's the younger guy in the office, and There's kind of a little battle going on there. Am I reading too much into this? I don't know, but I love reading into stuff. That's what I'm doing here. That's what the point of this podcast. What else happened? Oh, Macon's store. What happened there? Let me tell you. So they took in Rachel Mencken and her dad. I think this is the first time we saw the dad, who is the owner of the store. And they start telling him the plan. They want to put all these nice areas in. They're not just doing advertising. They are rebranding the store. They are like redeveloping the store. So they are a full service shop, and including putting a restaurant in the store. And he's like, I have to have a restaurant. I'm in the restaurant business now. And he's like, this is the time. He argued a little bit, because he was just pushing back, not disrespectfully, not completely closed-minded, just kind of letting his thoughts be known. And Don, told him straight out, this is, your customers have evolved and they need this kind of thing. So I thought that was pretty cool. And he talked to his daughter on the way out and says he made a lot of good points. He's a little too dashing for my liking. And this started something because we hadn't seen Rachel in a little while, and Dawn's got a thing for Rachel. So towards the end of the episode, before I get there, Pete walks up to Peggy and he's like, what are you doing? And she explains she's doing something, and he's like, aren't you a busy beaver? And he's Pete is a creepo and a insecure little prick. And he's like basically talking down to Peggy, like, you don't need me anymore, this kind of thing. And she's like, what's your problem? And she stands up for him. And to me on this show, I'm thinking, at any point, could a guy hit a woman because he spoke up? I don't know. This is 1960. Things are different. This is in the business. And he's basically not married. Like, if they talk like it's nothing. And she's like, do you like me? Do you not like me? Do you need me to lie down on the couch for you? And he kind of, I don't think he liked that she stood up for herself. I liked it, but I don't think he liked it very much. So he kind of blew her off. And so there's a little tension there, but they seem to still like each other. I don't know why Peggy likes Pete at all. Maybe because he showed her some attention. But God damn it, Peggy, you do better than Pete. He's a creep. And, Peggy's, perfectly fine. Pete's got a nice wife at home, okay? I kind of love Alison Brie. What's wrong there? Okay, she's maybe a little overbearing. And maybe he likes that Peggy's a little more independent. I don't know. But there's definitely something with Rachel Mencken. I know I'm saying the name wrong. I might be saying the name wrong. But there's something about her, strong, smart, independent, that Dawn seems to gravitate towards. And let me tell you why. So they're in the hospital, and Dawn calls Betty and basically he's telling her what's going on, saying, Roger had a heart attack. I don't know about coming up. She's like, don't worry about it. And then she starts going and complaining about her dad's girlfriend. Really, her husband's boss and friend just had a heart attack. And she's complaining about her dad's girlfriend. And Dawn's like, I don't know, Bits. I don't know. And you could just see the frustration in his voice, like, I can't talk to this girl. I can't even confide in her with anything. I can't, I don't even want to speak to her. I call her to let her know what's going on and maybe to try to her to make me feel better. And all she does is complain about her dad's girlfriend. She does say, oh, you need to eat something. Do you need me to come home? But for the most part, she makes it all about her. And he's like, don't worry about it. And he's like, I can't stop. So what does he do to me? He goes to Rachel Mencken's house. Basically says, I need to come in. She got the telegram. Before I get to this Rachel stuff, she said, I got the telegram. So apparently telegrams are as close to email in the world as we have now. Telegrams must go anytime, 24 hours a day. I don't know how it works. But Joan got called by Cooper, Mr. Cooper, back to the office in the middle of the night. She brought her boyfriend back, or that guy back with her. And Cooper's like, okay, you can leave, get out, kicks the guy out, and says we need to write all these postcards to let all our clients know that business as usual, even though Roger had a heart attack. So he tells her Roger had a heart attack. First of all, now that's she's been seeing Roger, so she's a little upset with that. So she's typing all these things out in the middle of the night on a long weekend with tears in her eyes, trying to hide it. And once she finally does that, they leave together in the elevator, and Roger and Mr. Cooper's like, dear, don't mind me saying, you could do better than that. And she's like, oh, that's just a friend talking about the guy. She goes, oh, I don't mean him. You're too young for the old, or something like that. Basically meaning, don't waste your freaking time with Roger Sterling. You should do better than that. And just, she had these tears in her eye as she was going down the elevator. Like, should I not be with him? I could be doing something better with my life, or I don't know. But there was just tears in her eye. Maybe it's upset about Roger. Maybe it's upset about what have I been doing with him. Back to Dawn going into Rachel's house. She got the telegram. So she already knew. He's like, I just wanted to see you. I just need can I have a drink? You have a drink. I just need to sit down. Do you need to sleep? He's like, I need to sit down. He starts to kiss her. She's like, no, you don't want to do this. And he starts saying, what if this is it? This is all there is. And I think he was basically saying, this is all there is with life. At first I thought he was saying, this is it. Like, you and I are it. This is it together. Like, this is how it's supposed to be. You and I are supposed to be together. This is the woman, that's strong, beautiful, smart, independent woman with, whose opinions I care about. This is what it should be. And I don't know if he meant that, or if he meant like, this is life. We're going to die, live life. Because then she's like, oh, that's just an excuse for bad behavior. So I think it was more this is it. This is the only life we have. But I wasn't quite sure. Because she finally kind of relents, or gives in. Not relents, but she gives in. But he stops. He goes, I won't do this if you don't want to. And she's like, yes, please. And boom, they do it. And afterwards, she lights up a cigarette while they're lying on the couch. And I'm thinking again, how many people died of fires? Like, were fire departments like going to people's houses every week for someone who falls asleep smoking and dying? It must have been just an epidemic. He doesn't have one. She lights up, and he basically opens up to her. He doesn't say, I'm Dick Whitman, but he basically says, my mother, oh, you said your mother died in childbirth, so did mine. She was a prostitute. She died, they sent me to my father's house. They sent me over to him. Then he died. He was a drunk who got kicked in the face by a horse. So she was shacked up with another woman. She married another guy, and those people raised me. So those are those people that when the hobo came to the house, that wasn't his mother or his father. And he basically opened up to her. He told this woman something he's told no one. No one. Everyone talks about Don Draper being the man of mystery. He doesn't like to talk about his past. His own wife doesn't know this, and he told her. To me, that means he's in love with this woman. It's something real. It's not just this like girlfriend thing. And Betty's a great gal. She's she does cut her hair off and give it to children. And she shoots pigeons. So Betty, I don't know how I feel about Betty. She's got a nice smile, but I feel like Don wants more, and this Rachel might be the more he wants. I don't know. Or he's just completely second-guessing his life. Again, this life he chose. This is not Dick Whitman's life. This is Don Draper's life. And now he's saying to myself, did I choose right? Am I doing the right thing? Am I with the right people? This is all me speculating. But that's what I love about a great show. It makes you think of these things. It makes you speculate. It makes you just want to watch more and talk about it more. And I think, my friends, I covered just about everything. I watch an episode, and while I'm watching, I don't write down anything. I don't take any notes. That would be the same thing as writing down something. And I say to myself, am I going to remember something? Am I going to have an idea of what to talk about? Oh, God, am I going to forget this? Oh, maybe I should try to talk about that. Oh, geez. And then I hit record on the phone, and it just starts coming back to me. And all of a sudden, I'm like, am I going to fill up 10 minutes? I filled up over 20, almost 25 minutes here. So, you know what, friends? I think it's safe to call it a night. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mike, and this is Made Man. It's a podcast about Mad Men, but you know that already. Because you found us maybe on Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn. Maybe you found us on Overcast or Anchor, Anchor.fm. Our site is hosted through Anchor, Anchor.fm/MadeMan. But the website for Made Man is fansnotexperts.com/MadeMan. We are on Twitter @MadeManPod. Hello, Greg. Thank you for following. We are on Facebook at Fans Not Experts. And, we did it. We are 10 episodes into the first season. We only have a few more to go, and we're done with first season. And it's on to the second season of Mad Men already. I only watch one episode a week. A lot of people binge these shows. I binge a lot of shows, but with Mad Men, I'm watching it week to week. My original thought was I'm going to watch like 4 episodes in a week and talk about them and stockpile these things, just have these episodes ready to go. Well, that hasn't happened yet. Hasn't happened yet at all. Every week I've been going, oh, yep, time to do an episode. Maybe a time will come where I'll do 1 or 2 episodes in a week. Maybe I'll release them twice in a week, or maybe I'll just, save them and have them excite your Friday as much as it excites my Friday delivering this to you. So, folks, I thank you as we continue this journey for me to have every episode of Mad Men, starting from 1, here we are to 10. We've done it. There's only a few more. We're done with this first season. And friends, we're not taking a week off. We're going right into the second season. This is a journey that I thank you for coming along with me on as I go through the world trying to become a made man. This is the point where I would like to do some kind of closing song, like do 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 do. It's the Made Man podcast starring Mike. Do 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 do. He already said that Mike rhymes with like. Do 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 do. I ran out of ideas, and I'm gonna go inside now.
Fans Not Experts.